Off his talks with the Democrats, President Trump seeing some improvement in the latest round of polling. A new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll released this morning shows that Donald Trump's overall approval rating at 43%. That's 3 points higher than it was in August. 52% of Americans disapprove with the president's job rating. The number is identical to a Politico Morning Consult poll, and Monmouth University's latest polling finds the president with a net negative rating in single digits. 40% approve, 49% disapprove. The NBC News Wall Street Journal poll also found that 71% of Americans support President Trump's recent deal with Democratic leaders to provide hurricane relief and keep the government open for 90 days. Mark Halperin.
That's phenomenal.
I just got to say, we knew it was going to be
a big number.
A big number.
But 71%.
Yeah, no, it's a 70-30 proposition. Well, you have all these people on the far right, basically doing what Steve Bannon did forever, and it matches up with exactly what we've been saying around this set for 7.5 months, that the president's playing to 30% and working actively to enrage 70%. Well, guess what? He reversed that when he stopped listening to the most extreme voices on the far right on talk radio who make money by whipping up their base. And so what's happening? His poll numbers are going up.
We knew the president was enthused by the news coverage, including on this program, of the deal. That 71% number will get in front of him, and he will see it, I think, as reinforcement that that is where the mood of the country. It's hard to get 71% yes on anything, given how polarized things are. The other thing in the NBC poll that's so interesting to me that relates is all the congressional leaders, both Nancy Pelosi and the Democrat Republican leaders, have very low approval numbers. And so, although the president still, despite the increase, is low by historic standards, he is the king of the hill. He is the most popular of the leaders in Washington, and this number, I think, will reinforce to him that he's got the leverage and the freedom to make more deals.
You remember a couple of weeks ago that tweet from Congressman Steve King after the deal where he said the base is gone.
You're going to lose the base.
You've lost everybody. There's another poll came out yesterday, the Monmouth poll, and this is just Trump voters. Just Trump voters. They were asked how they feel about him working with Democrats. Only 8%. 8% said they disapproved of him working with Democrats. 75% in the poll said he was working the right amount with Democrats or that he should work more with them. In total, it was 85% that thought he was doing the right thing by reaching across the aisle and just getting something done.
Mika,
he's in good standing with them.
Yeah, we talked about it at the time. Steve King tweets out, he's going to lose his base. Ann Coulter says he should be killed. He should be impeached. Mike Pence should be president of the United States. Sean Hannity declared it's over, ! Because he was working in a bipartisan way. And of course, we said on the show, as we've said forever, only because we're right, that he should work with Democrats. That Americans are sick and tired of Washington, D.C. not working, and they will move to somebody that can make Republicans and Democrats work together. The president has been playing the lowest common denominator game, playing to his lowest 30%, just 30%, Mika. Now he's doing something. He's reversed the equation.
He has. Okay, go ahead.
Well, Mika, let's go through the numbers because people are driving.
All right.
And pretty good.
Still, voters don't seem to agree.
Well, hold on, the screen. 83% of Republicans are approving of the president, up from 80. Independents have jumped from 32% in August to 41% now. Democrats up 2%.
Yep. Okay. Voters don't seem to agree, though, when the president says he's accomplished more.
Well, he hasn't. No.
Well, you have to look at it from a different perspective. Perhaps he's created more divisiveness than any other president, and just 33% think he's accomplished either a great deal or a fair amount. 66% believe he's accomplished only some or very little as president. And on issues, 41% approve the president's handling of the economy, 36% back his approach to North Korea, 27% support his stance on health care, and some of his weakest approval marks surround his use of Twitter and his response to the deadly events in Charlottesville, where only 1 in 5 approved.
Let's keep those numbers up.
It was just a mess.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.